Welcome to Obedient Submission. Today, we're going to talk about something incredible. It's a prophetic vision that pulls back the curtain on the unseen world, showing us how our everyday actions literally become our saviors when we need them most, in those moments of absolute helplessness.
So, with that, let's dive into this amazing reflection on what truly matters. I mean, really think about that. A moment where your money, your job, your connections, all of it means nothing. You're completely vulnerable. Well, that's the exact question this prophetic teaching answers, and it shows us what really shows up to help when everything else has fallen away.
Okay, so where does this all come from? This isn't just a story someone made up. It comes from a vision that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, shared with his companions. He told them, "Last night I saw something astonishing," and then he walked them through this series of powerful, almost cinematic scenes of the soul's journey after we leave this world.
And just for anyone who might be new to the term, a hadith is simply a recorded saying or tradition of the Prophet. For Muslims, it's a huge source of guidance and inspiration.
Now, here's something really important to know about this specific hadith. While its chain of narrators isn't graded as perfectly sound, major scholars have looked at it and said, wait a minute, every single point made in this vision is backed up by other, completely authentic texts. So you can think of it as a beautiful, divinely inspired illustration. It's not something for strict legal rulings, but it is absolutely accepted as a powerful source of motivation and spiritual insight.
So, the vision starts right at the beginning, the soul's first moments after leaving the body. Let's see how these intense trials are meant by deeds we do every single day.
So in the first scene, the prophet saw a man facing the angel of death. But just as the angel was about to take his soul, the man's kindness to his parents showed up, not as a memory, but as a physical force that literally pushed the angel back. Then he saw a person suffering in the grave, but their wudu, the simple act of washing for prayer, came and rescued them. And another was surrounded by devils, totally helpless, until their vicar, their remembrance of God, appeared and scattered the devils away. Right away, you see our deeds are not passive, they are our active defenders.
And the vision keeps going. He saw a man cornered by angels of punishment, but his daily prayers, his salah, jumped in and saved him. He saw another person suffering from a thirst so intense that every drink was denied him, until his fasting in Ramadan came and gave him a drink that quenched his thirst forever. And get this, he saw a man trying to join the circles of the prophets but being kept out, until his ghusl, his ritual bath came, took him by the hand and sat him right down among them. Incredible.
Okay, so after the trials of the grave, the scene shifts. The scale gets way bigger. Now we're at the day of judgment, and the challenges are on a whole different level.
On this day, the prophet saw a man lost in a deep, suffocating darkness. But then, his Hajj and Umrah, the pilgrimages he made, materialized and pulled him out of the darkness and into brilliant light. He saw another person trying to shield himself from the heat of the fire, when his charity, his sadaqah, formed a literal canopy over his head, giving him shade. And then a really powerful one. A man was being ignored by all the other believers. Nobody would speak to him, until his act of maintaining family ties came and literally spoke up for him, and then everyone welcomed him in.
And the intensity just ramps up. A man is literally being dragged off by the guards of hell. But his simple effort in this life to encourage good and forbid evil transformed him and placed him with the angels of mercy instead. Another person is before God, but there's a veil separating them. Then his good character, his good manners, came, took his hand, and brought him into the divine presence. And finally, a man is about to receive his book of deeds in his left hand, a sign of doom, when his inner fear and awe of God physically snatches the book and places it in his right hand, the hand of salvation.
So let's just pause here for a second, because this is so important. Look at what's saving people. It's not just one type of action. It's a mix of everything. You've got the ritual acts like prayer and fasting, you've got our social duties, how we treat our parents and family, and you've got our inner state, our character, our fear of God, our hope. It shows that salvation is holistic. It's the whole package. And speaking of our inner states, it gets even deeper. The prophet saw a man whose scale of good deeds was just too light. But then, the young children he had lost during his life came and placed themselves on the scale, making it heavy with good. He saw another man standing right on the cliff edge of hell, but his sincere hope and God's mercy came and pulled him to safety. And then, a person who was actually falling into the fire was saved because the tears they had once shed out of awe for God came and extinguished the flames.
And now we come to one of the final and most feared stages of the journey, crossing the Surat, a bridge stretched over hell that everyone has to attempt to cross.
On this bridge he saw a man shaking so violently, like a palm leaf in a hurricane. But then his good opinion of Allah, his fundamental belief that Allah is merciful, came and steadied him, so he could walk across safely. He saw another person who was down on his hands and knees, crawling, slipping, about to fall. And then all the prayers and blessings he had sent upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came, lifted him up, and carried him to safety.
So, after all of that, after every single trial has been overcome by a good deed, the soul finally makes it. It arrives at its ultimate destination. But, believe it or not, there's one last door to open.
The Prophet describes this final, heart-stopping moment. A man from his community gets to the gates of paradise. He's passed every test. He's there. And the gates are sealed shut. They won't open. Can you even imagine that feeling?
And then, the foundation of everything arrives. His testimony of faith, the Shahada. His declaration that there is no God but Allah. That core belief came forward. It acted as the master key, unlocked the gates, and led him into paradise. It's the one key that makes every other good deed even count in the first place.
So, after hearing this incredible, detailed vision, what are we supposed to do with it? What does it mean for us, living our lives right here and now?
Well, the message is powerful and it's crystal clear. We are all going to face moments when we are powerless. But that quiet charity, that kind word to a parent, that prayer we do when no one's watching, those aren't just check marks in a book somewhere. This vision shows us they become a literal physical rescue team that will intervene for you. It proves that salvation is a rich tapestry of worship, character, and how we treat people. And maybe most importantly, it shows that no good deed, no matter how tiny it feels to you today, is ever wasted.
This whole vision just completely reframes our lives, doesn't it? It's not just about living day to day, it's a preparation. Our actions are deposits. We're putting them into a spiritual savings account for the one day when we will desperately need to make a withdrawal. And so, it leaves all of us with a very urgent, very personal question. What are you saving for that day?